How to instantly change your life with one easy step. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel. I'm Justin. So let's talk about it, right? How to change your life with one simple step. That secret is perception. You've heard it a million times before. Change your perception, change your reality. And so I'm gonna give you guys a pretty quick story here. So perception is always how we see our reality. Growing up, and kind of like hanging out with friends, you can always hear they talk about stress. Anytime they would go out, it was always like, how's work going? Oh, it's so bad, right? Everybody has those conversations. We always give power to the bad. And so I was sitting down with a friend, let's call him Matt, because that's his real name, and I'm not really good with doing fake names. So I was sitting down with Matt, and Matt is a friend of mine's boyfriend. And we were kind of talking about how he's been job hunting for a new place to work. And as I was talking to him, he kind of talked about his last 3 or 4 jobs. And he talked about how bad they were. And so in doing that, he's got that negative outlook at where he works now. And I told him if he does find a good job, he's just going to bring that negative with him, right? Because he doesn't want to change his outlook. He always thinks that he deserves better. He has a problem with supervisors, management, upper management, and generally just authority. And so I told him, I was like, what's so bad about where you work now? And he said the biggest problem is that his boss is not much older than him, that he can do his job better, that, it's just, there's some micromanagement. So I asked him, I was like, well, what's the office like? What's his coworkers like? And, again, coworkers were negative, always talking about all the bad stuff going on in the office, talking about all that stress, giving that stress so much power. And when you hear this stuff, when you perceive all this bad, you'll only see the bad. Those moments of good and happiness, they're not going to be as relevant. They're not going to be as occurring because you're only looking for the bad. So he goes into the office every day, even during lockdown, they wear masks and everything. But all they do is talk about how rough their jobs are, how bad their jobs are, how much they deserve to be paid more, stuff like that. And if you're just surrounded by that, you're just gonna feed off of it. That negativity and that perception bounces and just comes right back to you tenfold. And so I told him, I was like, if you go to another job, you may think it's gonna be better, but you're gonna find that one little negative. Same with all those other jobs he had before, same with all those other jobs that he applied for. He's always looking at the bad. Same with his perception on getting a job. He needs this job, but he always sells himself short. He's always like, I'm not gonna get the job anyway, so I'm not gonna invest. And he always said that he is a realist, right? Like he's gotta set up that failure before anything else because he needs that in order to protect himself. But when you do that, you are immediately just accepting defeat. You are immediately just accepting that you're not gonna get the job. And to have that negative outlook too on his job interviews, that plays out. Nobody wants to, think about like if you're gonna date somebody, you sit down with them, go for the first date, and all they do is just talk about their problems. Here's scams. All they want to do is talk about their problems, all their issues. Chances are you're not going to go for that second date. And if you do, don't, because you don't need that in your life either. But having that negative outlook and having that short sight, that was what's keeping him from enjoying life and thinking that his place was so bad. So I told him, I was like, if you do get that other job, you keep thinking that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. When in reality, if you take that sickness, go into the other yard, right, then you are immediately going to kill that grass. So you need to make sure your yard's in good order before going anywhere else. You need to make sure that you yourself as a human have that right perception, have that right positivity, have that right protection, right? Because any office you go to, there is going to be that negative. Any job you go to, there is going to be that chance for anger, frustration, stress, all these things to come at you because you're so open to it. Whereas if you can protect yourself, put that barrier up and understand that you are good and you know, the world is good and your job is fine. Don't let those people that work with you influence you to have these negative thoughts, these negative perceptions, because that's just going to carry over, and it carries over in everything. Talking to his girlfriend, you know, it's like, man, this it's hard because he is such a negative guy. She didn't say negative, she said a realist. But if that's his reality, then that's always gonna be his reality. So you need to change your perception. So if you're in that job environment, I know I spend a lot of time away from my office. Now I'm an independent contractor as a realtor, but I choose to stay away because anytime a realtor is together, they want to talk about how rough their deals are, how rough, you know, some of their clients are, how rough some of their buyers are. And so I choose to not surround myself with that. And it plays a big factor. So, you know, with me, you know, I'm an incredibly happy person and have that outlook of positivity, and I bring that to the table with all of my clients. But in staying away from the office, you know, if I were to be in there every day, chances are I would be stressed and I would see these other realtors talking about all this bad stuff, and I would in turn suck that up. And because we're spiritual beings living a physical life. And so it's easy for us to get influenced. And so that's why I choose to not go to the office. Now with him, he's stuck at the office, but he's got to change that office mentality. And so I told him one of the things he can do is just not talk to people, right? Keep his head down, you know, put some headphones in and just listen to good, or, you know, take some deep breaths. And his job is pretty rough too, because he's in some kind of like client claim thing with insurance. And so, you know, he's constantly dealing with people that are stressed. He's constantly dealing with people that, you know, they wrecked their car. And how you approach that situation. So I had my truck get hit and ran one night. I woke up and yeah, my truck was hit pretty rough. And my neighbor was like, "Oh my God, that's so bad." And I was like, "Well, it's fine. You know, it's not, I can't control it. It's out of my hands. So don't even worry about it." And sure enough, like, you know, my insurance covered quite a bit of it. So I was like, yeah, fine. Had my truck back in like 2 weeks. So, you know, how you approach a situation is a big factor. So I told him whenever he gets those calls from those clients, you know, try to be nice, try to tell them, try to calm them down, tell them, "Oh man, well, it's out of your hands. It's, you know, but we got this, right? We'll take care of it. Don't worry." And even if you don't know, you know, at least just give them that calm. Make sure that they know that it's out of their hands regardless. Because if you stay into a situation, you're never going to escape that situation. Like it's just how it goes. So I told him, I was like, try to approach the office life very differently now. So I told him the first thing he wants to do, keep his head down. Avoid those water cooler conversations and just relax. You know, don't get sucked into other people's problems, because their problems will become your problems. And another thing I told him too was try to practice breathing. Breathing is the strongest thing that we can do for ourselves whenever stress comes around. You know, take that deep, slow inhale, hold it in, heavy exhale. And what that does is it just calms your mind. It brings you back. Even in meditation, you know, we're taught, you know, get those deep breaths, calm the mind, be open, you know, to any situation that's going to come around. And just remember that stress is just reality not fitting our image. And so go around it. The other thing I told him too was to, you know, talk more. Talk about the good instead of talk about the bad. How was your day? Oh, I helped a client, you know, instead of I had this client that was just the worst. So So we'll see what happens with Matt. We're going hiking here in an hour, so we'll see. Just gonna touch base and see how his week went, and hopefully he applied for a pretty great job with a new company moving here to town, building electric vehicles. So fingers crossed that he does get it, but more so fingers crossed that he changed his perception. And we can do a whole video series about perception. But I hope this story and I hope this message kind of came across and that you felt something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, comment down below if you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.